Yes, an amazing Wednesday morning to you listeners out there. Of course, the program you're on to is In the Papers, coming to you from the stables of iPower 102.7 FM. It is a program where we preview and review to you headlines and news making rounds in the papers for your listening pleasure. I am INIOLUWA. ADEKOYA. And now talking headlines this morning, I've got with me the Daily Post newspaper, the Herb newspaper, the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Premium Times newspaper, the Daily Trust newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, and the Sun newspaper. Right about now, I would go on a short break. When I get back, I'll give you the headlines making rounds in the papers this morning. Yes, glad to have you back. Like I made mention earlier, the program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of the list of our headlines this morning from the Herb newspaper, talking Ondo bans cash payment in schools. Yes, we've got this very sad one on the Herb newspaper. Queen of Songs, Dolly Parton, dies at 80. Yes, still on the Herb newspaper, talking in El Malud, Tinubu Ayedatiwa Olatiji can urge Nigerians to uphold prophets' virtues. And now talking 2027, APC denies withdrawing Tinubu's campaign council list. Heading over to Ogun State, police bust baby factory in Ogun community. And I'm moving to international matters. Iran says Hormuz Strait still closed despite transit corridor talks. Yeah, still on the Vanguard newspaper, talking subsidy removal. Atiku disowns aid, says my position has not changed. Still talking 2027 presidency on the Vanguard newspaper. ACF, PANDEF, and BF demand scrutiny on candidate history. Yeah, still on the Vanguard newspaper, motorists will spend 4 days on Benin Asaba Road. And now to the Premium Times newspaper, ICPC indicts Budget Office over inclusion of fake agency in 2026 budget. Yeah, still talking fake agency scandal. ICPC class Bajabia Mila gives reasons. University suspends professor stripped over attempted sexual assault, and that is on the Premium Times newspaper. Yes, and now heading over to the Guardian newspaper, anxiety over attacks on Osun State local councils, motor parks as parties trade blame. Yeah, still on the Guardian newspaper, federal government extends police reforms to those self-help plot in communities. Yes, now to the Sun newspaper, Tinubu orders security chiefs to account for every Niger abducted victims. Yes, we've got this on Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank pushes value addition to boost non-oil exports, and that is coming from the Sun newspaper. Yeah, still talking headlines now to the Punch newspaper. Governors spend 512 billion naira on travels offices. Yeah, still talking Dolly Parton on the Punch newspaper. US lowers flags for 1 week. And now to the Daily Post newspaper, still talking headlines, talking 2027. I'll make 4 refineries in Nigeria work, and that is coming from Shura. Wike taking loans from FCT without National Assembly approval, King Ibe alleges. And finally, on the Daily Post newspaper, terrorists exploiting social media remittance platform to raise funds, and that is coming from Bukati. Yes, right about now, I would go on another short break. When I get back, I'll dish out the headlines and the news making rounds in the papers to you this morning. The program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM, and I will be right back. Yes, welcome back. Like I made mention earlier, the program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of the list of our news this morning from the Oak newspaper, Ondo bans cash payment in schools. And now to the details. The Ondo State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has introduced a digital payment gateway for financial transactions in schools across the state. Banning cash payment is part of measures to curb illegal collections and improve accountability. The initiative is aimed to strengthen transparency in schools' financial transaction and ensure that all payments are properly documented and monitored. The move, which takes effect from the new academic session, was disclosed during a meeting between the Ministry and Executive of the Association of Boards of Secondary Schools in Ondo State. Speaking at the meeting, the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Igbekele Ajibefum, said the Ministry had already engaged principals across the state and sensitized them on the new payment system and ensure smooth implementation. The Commissioner said the decision followed widespread complaint received during the last academic session about illegal and unauthorized collections in schools. He explained that following the complaint, he personally embarked on a verification visit to some schools where he confirmed that certain forms of unauthorized collections were taking place. According to him, the findings prompted the Ministry of Works to, with relevant stakeholders and its technical team, to develop a payment gateway that will make every financial transaction in school traceable and properly documented. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Herb newspaper with the headline, Ondo bans cash payments in schools. Yes, still on the Herb newspaper, police bust baby factory in Ogun community. And now to the details. The Ogun State Police Command is dismantled an alleged illegal baby factory in Mowe, a community in the state, rescuing 2 pregnant women and 4 children. The baby factory is where opposite sexes are recruited or conspired to copulate, and babies produced through the process are put up for sale. 6 suspects were arrested in connection with the suspected human trafficking and illegal adoption activities at the facility. Operatives of the Mowe Division carried out the operation at about 8 a.m. on the 24th of August 2026, following sustained intelligence on activities at the hideout of Toluwalashe Street, a barren village via Barimole, a suburb of Mowe. According to the police, preliminary investigations indicated that human trafficking and illegal adoption had been taking place at the facility over time. The 2 pregnant women rescued during the operation were identified as 23-year-old Ilisomi Foluke, who is 7 months pregnant, and 20-year-old Ejekwa Melody, who is 8 months pregnant. Police also recovered 4 young children, 2 boys and 2 girls. From the location, the suspected arrested were Florence Glory Ogbuna, a 58-year-old, Magdalene Julius, a 63-year-old, Chidike Oguno, a 40-year-old, Onyechu Chidike, 35-year-old, Stephen Ogbuna, a 39-year-old, and an attending nurse, Osene Kosamotu Idaya. The command said further intelligence-led driven investigation took operatives to the hospital within the Mowe axis, where another alleged victim, a 26-year-old Blessing Bright Effiong, had reportedly given birth to a baby boy on the 20th of August. While Effiong was receiving medical treatment at the hospital, police said the whereabouts of a newborn could not be accounted for. The attending nurse was subsequently arrested as investigators worked to locate the missing infant. The case is being transferred to the State Criminal Investigative Department (SCID) in Ilewiran, Abeokuta for further investigations. The police said the investigation will seek to establish the full extent of the alleged syndicate activities, locate the missing newborns, and bring a culpable persons to justice. Commissioner of Police, Ogun State Command, Bode Ojajuni, commended the Mowe Division operatives for what he described as a prompt response and operational efficiency. Ojajuni reaffirmed the command's commitment to combating human trafficking, child trading, and other forms of violent crimes in the state, while urging residents to remain vigilant and provide credible information about suspicious activities. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the old newspaper with the headline, "Police Bust Baby Factory in Ogun Community." Yes, still taking the news from the old newspaper. Queens of Songs Dolly Parton dies at 80. And now to the details. Celebrities are offering their condolences following the death of country music superstar Dolly Parton, who died on Tuesday, the 25th of August at the age of 80. Lily Tomlin, Parton's longtime friend and one of the co-stars in the 1980 hit comedy 9 to 5, wrote on Instagram, "No words," with a love emoji. The movie was Parton's big screen debut, and she wrote and performed the film chart-topping Grammy-winning theme song. Tomlin said the 16th Annual Governors Award in 2025 that the song 9 to 5 was so much bigger than any singular theme song on a movie soundtrack, saying it became an anthem of our culture of time. She added, at the time of Parton's humanitarian achievement, as staggering as a formidable singing career, and called her one of the few people who remain in this world that everyone loves and respects. Dolly Parton, Iraq's richest daughter of Appalachia, who from 6 decades wrote country music with an outsized personality and parade with that enshrined her as the 20th century most cherished American originals, died on Tuesday in Nashville. She was 80 years old. Her death was announced in a video posted on social media by her nephew, Brian Seaver. No cause was provided. Concerns about Miss Parton's health, which began last year as she postponed a later cancelled of Las Vegas residency, grew to the point she took to social media last fall to confirm that she wasn't dead yet. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the old newspaper with the headline, "Queen of Songs Dolly Parton dies at 80. Yes, and now heading over to the Vanguard newspaper. Highway of Horror. Motorist will spend 4 days in Benin Asaba Road. And now to the details. As Nigerians lament the poor state of road across the country, the federal government said yesterday it will review all concessioned roads to ensure the term of contract were met to ease the pains of the people. The Minister of Works, Engineer David Umahi, will disclose this when he went on an on-the-spot assessment of the concessioned Benin Asaba Highway. Tongue lashed the concession company, BAECC, over poor handling of the project. He said the company had failed woefully simply as it lacked the technical knowledge to undo the job. And he also called for a meeting of all stakeholders to review the situation. He has also promised that government will bring a contractor to make the road motorable. In a short time, motorists have been trapped on the highway for several days due to many failed sections of the road. Passengers traveling from Benin to Agbo to Asaba are facing increasing hardship due to the failed portions of the highway, traffic congestion and diversion, which combined with prolonged journey times along the corridor. The Benin Asaba Highway was concessioned to BAECC in 2025 to turn the road to a 10-lane highway, and the project was to have been completed with toll gate in September 2027 to enable the company recoup its investment and maintain the road for 25 years. But Umahi said the concessionaire would have been arrested for destroying the public property because it removed existing asphalt, contrary to advice, thus subjecting the roads to hazard, while commending Governor Monday Okpebolo of Edo State for his intervention in a lot of federal roads across the state. Umahi said, and I quote, "He's not saying this is a federal or state road. I apologize to commuters plying the road. The NDDC is willing to intervene. I am disappointed at the concessionaires. I take full responsibility and their misdeeds and destruction of public assets." If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Vanguard newspaper with the headline, "Highway to Ara, motorist will spend 4 days on Benin Asaba Road." Yes, and now to the Premium Times newspaper. ICPC indicts Budget's Office of inclusion of fake agency in 2026 budget. And now to the details. The Anti-Corruption Agency, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has felt that the Budget's Office of the Federation, BOF, for including the purported Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, PFIPC, in the 2026 federal budget. The findings is contained in a commission's investigations into the activities of the organization, which the federal government has said never existed. According to the report, the budget office processed unonboarded the purported council and the 2026 budget, despite gaps in its documentation, without independently verifying the legal instrument establishing it. The investigation found that the BOF relied on administrative code issued by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, or AGF, an establishment-related document attributed to the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, or HCSF, without independently confirming the authenticity or establishing the council's legal existence. The findings provide further insight into how the purported agency, headed by ADEKOya, penetrated government system and secured recognition across several federal institutions. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Premium Times newspaper with the headline, ICPC indicts Budget Office over inclusion of fake agency in 2026 budget. Yes, another one coming from the ICPC talking fake agency scandal. ICPC class, but Jabia Mila gives reasons and now to the details. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offensive Commission, ICPC, says it has found no evidence linking the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, to the appointment of Adeyemi as Director General of the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council, PFIPC, a fake federal agency. The Commission said its investigation found that Mr. Adeyemi personally forged an appointment letter dated March 2024 on a fake State House letterhead and attributed a signature on the document of Mr. Gbajabiamila. The investigation also found no evidence that Mr. Adeyemi was appointed by the Chief of Staff or had any direct engagement with him. According to the ICPC, there was no evidence linking Mr. Gbajabiamila to the office of the Chief of Staff or the State House to Mr. Adeyemi, the PFIPC, or anyone acting on behalf of the purported council. The findings provide fresh details about the scandal involving Mr. Adeyemi, who presented himself as the head of the agency and had no legal basis but was able to secure office space, government recognition, and the Central Bank of Nigerian's accounts. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Premium Times newspaper with the headline, Fake Agency Scandal, ICPC class Gbajabiamila gives reasons. Yeah, still taking news from the Premium Times newspaper, talking 2027. I will bring back petrol subsidy, Atiku insists. And now to the details. Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, has restated his pledge to restore petrol subsidy if elected president next year. Atiku restated his position in a post on X in a permanent response to criticism that trailed his earlier pledge to restore the controversial petrol subsidy removed by Bola Tinubu's administration. On the question of subsidy, my position has not changed and will not change. I will restore it. A nation as blessed as ours has no business abandoning its citizenship to hardship. Nigeria is rich enough to look after our own, the former vice president wrote. The presidential candidate said he believed the progress and wealth of a country should be measured by citizens' ability to purchase goods and services rather than by how much revenue the government collects. Petrol subsidy has long been a disputed policy among Nigerians, with successive governments saying there was no need to remove it as the government could no longer afford it. However, proponents argue that its removal would worsen the plight of millions of Nigerians as it will lead to increase in prices of goods and services. President Tinubu, who defeated Atiku in the 2023 presidential election, announced the end of petrol subsidy on the day he was sworn into office. The removal of the petrol subsidy alongside the floating of the naira contributed to Nigerians' cost of living crisis, the worst in the generation, as the prices of goods and services tripled across the country. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Premium Times newspaper with the headline, 2027, I will bring back petrol subsidy, Atiku insists. Yes, the program you're still on to is in the papers, coming to you from the stables of iPower 102.7 FM. Right about now, I would go on a short break. When I get back, I will open the phone lines for comments and contribution as regards the news and the headlines read out to you, anyone that piques your interest. And we would also have our in-house political analyst throw 1 or 2 cents into the conversation making round in today's edition of In the Papers on iPower 102.7 FM. I will be right back. Yes, glad to have you back. Welcome back. Like I made mention earlier, the program is In the Papers, coming to you from the stables of iPower 102.7 FM. Yes, the phone lines have officially been opened. The number to call for comments and contributions as regards any of the news that piques your interest is 08165524699, 08165524699 for comments and contributions as regards any of the news read out to you, any of the news that piques your interest. The number to call is 08165524699. You can also watch us live on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at iPower 1027 FM. And now heading over to the Sun newspaper, Tinubu orders security chiefs to account for every Niger abduction victims. And now to the details. President Bola Tinubu has ordered the nation's security chiefs to account for every victim of the latest mass abduction in Niger State, directing the military, police, Department of State Service, DSS, and other security intelligence agencies to launch an immediate and coordinated operation to rescue those abducted. The president also vowed that those responsible for the abduction and killing of innocent citizens would be brought to justice, describing the perpetrators as enemies of peace and enemies of humanity. Tinubu issued the directive while reacting to a mass abduction and killing in Niger State, expressing outrage over what he described as a cowardly attack on defenseless Nigerians. Those who carried out this cowardly attack on defenseless Nigerians are enemies of peace and enemies of humanity who will not go scot-free, the president said. According to a statement by his special advisor on information strategy, Bayo Ononuga, Tinubu directed the armed forces, the Nigerian police force, the DSS, and relevant intelligence agencies to immediately coordinate the operations and intensify efforts to locate and rescue the victims. He specifically directed the service chiefs to keep him regularly briefed on development, insisting that the operations must continue until every abducted person is accounted for. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Sun newspaper with the headline, Tinubu orders security chiefs to account for every Niger abducted victims. Yes, glad to have you back. Like I made mention earlier, the program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. And I said we are going to be having our in-house political analyst to throw 1 or 2 cents as regards the conversations making rounds in the papers this morning. A beautiful morning to you, Akin Adebayo.
Good morning this morning.
It's been a while we've had you on the program.
I've been up and down.
Yeah. Yes, we have this very interesting one and controversial, of course, on the Premium Times newspaper Talking 2027, where Atiku has insisted, and is still insisting, that he is going to bring back petrol subsidy. And it is the same petrol subsidy the current president, removed. And we remember at that time when it was removed, prices of things jumped up and there was a lot of Now, Atiku is saying he's going to bring it back, and he's insisting over and over again. What do you think about it? What is your take on that?
Thank you very, very much. You see, politicians, all of them, they are fair weather person. It simply means they can't tell you something and you go to bed with it. They can say something today and say something entirely different tomorrow.
Yeah.
Politicians are a group of people that speaks from every 4 corners of their mouth. They can speak positive today, tomorrow speak negativity. Well, Atiku to have said such thing, I am not surprised. Reason being that, we are talking about somebody that has contested. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he has been one of the very few Nigerians, if not the only Nigerian, that has contested thus far in the history of Nigeria political engineering.
Yeah.
I think the only person we can compare to the level of contest Atiku has actually run for in the world is late Abraham Lincoln, former American president, that contested until he became, American
Yeah,
president.
the
Maybe
president.
Atiku is trying to break same
That
record.
kind of record.
But his approach to it is what is actually giving me a terrible concern. Now, let us quickly go into the kind of person Atiku is. Now, this was someone that actually worked with custom. We all knew I led custom. Donald Duke said it, equally running for presidency now, because Donald Duke's father happens to be a custom officer. In fact, a direct boss to Atiku. I remember Donald Duke said that his father said, when Atiku was complaining, that Nigeria should not allow Atiku to emerge as Nigerian president because he knows him very, very well when they were in custom. That is one. That is Donald Duke's father. Obasanjo, again, another boss to the same Atiku. He published a book under my watch. A particular chapter in that book and a particular page, a particular chapter was dedicated only to Atiku. And Obasanjo, as that a month ago, still said it on her, that allowing Atiku to be his vice president is one of the most terrible decisions he ever made in his life. That he doesn't pray that Nigeria should allow Atiku to rule Nigeria. Obasanjo said that second boss. Now, build up to 2023 election. Atiku, Peter Obi, Tinubu, in fact, all aspirants, all contestants said they are going to remove subsidy. Now, the question now is this. Why is Atiku now saying that he will not remove subsidy because he wants to contest again for the second time? Or he wants to contest again for next election? To me, I see such statements as an act of desperation. Reason being that lately, Nigerians have been complaining that, okay, subsidy removal has brought untold hardship, this and that and stuff like that. But let's be sincere with ourselves. Subsidy is a monster that has eaten terribly deep into the fabrics of this country. And the president has always said that the money for subsidy, I should not deceive ourselves. Do you know, it wasn't even that maybe Nigeria was generating money to pay for the subsidy. No. We were still borrowing to pay for the subsidy. Because virtually all our budget then was on borrowed, I mean, it was being borrowed. It was on loan. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. And so it wasn't that maybe there was one money that Nigeria is actually paying directly. No. It was because we borrowed money to pay that same subsidy. And after it has been removed, we all were familiar with the amount going to our various state governors. As at when subsidy was being paid, we all knew that that time most governors couldn't even pay salaries. No reasonable project was going on then. And this has been a monster that I want to commend you for even taking the bull by the horn to have removed it. Of course, its implementation might have been wrong, or the way he announced it, because like I've always said, that to me, my personal opinion, he shouldn't have announced it that very day. Reason being that we're the kind of person we are dealing with. The very minute the Nigerian system, they predate and they leverage on every policy, they exploit it to its later to make sure that it favors them at the end of the day. We are dealing with a terrible cartel. If Dangote, that has been in business in Nigeria, could say that one of his regret is to have gone into oil production, could say such thing. If he got to say that Dangote wanted to sell the refinery, Dangote refinery, because he was terribly frustrated, and he went on air to say that the cartel in oil sector is even more than the cartel in cocaine business. He said it. So for Dangote to have said such, he should have known that he has actually seen a lot. So we simply mean that for Atiku to have come up with such thing, I think is just appearing desperate. He just wants to make sure that, because if I'm not mistaken, this might be his last shot. I'm not so sure. I said this might be his last shot. Do you understand? But one thing is this: Nigerians, I think we are now wiser. Is Atiku going to remove subsidy? Is it not that when they get there, you see, we should just stop all this rigmarole. Politicians, like I said, they are fair weather persons. So for him to have said such thing, to me, is only leveraging on the emotions of Nigerians, because people have been saying that shouldn't have removed subsidy. Of course, let's say with ourselves, there is virtually no country that doesn't subsidize one or two things for their citizens. Like I said, if I thought you want to return subsidy, to me, I'm just saying it in my opinion, this is the right time, because we are no longer importing, petroleum product. Now we've now been able to discover, before it was 60 million liter per day. Now it has dropped as low as 20-something million liter per day. So I think to a large extent, we've now know the actual amount that Nigerians are actually consuming on petrol, PMS in particular. You understand? So to me, if at all the government is thinking of returning subsidy, this time that it can be done. But Atiku to have said it now, to me, I want to believe that is a sign or a statement of a desperate politician that want to get to power by all costs. So it's not something that we all should go to bed and be happy about. Like I said, politicians, they are fair with that person. So that is just it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, King Adebayo. Yes, moving on, still on the Of newspaper, we've got this very sad one. The very legend of music, Dolly Parton, has gone to rest at the age of 80. And we know her for a lot of music. We know her for Coats of Many Colors. We know her for I Am the Woman. We know her for When the Road is Called Up Yonder. And she has finally gone to be with the Lord. What do you have to say as regards Dolly Parton? And do you have any last parting words for her?
Well, Dolly Parton, as we all know, she's one of, if I'm not mistaken, one of the most prominent queen of song. She understand. I mean, give it to her when it comes to song that is quite emotional and stuff like that. Well, for her to have gone to rest at the age of 80, I think she has actually tried her best. 80 is not a small age, let's just say with herself. And this is someone that has been that has reigned for so many years. When you talk about Michael Jackson, she knows about them. She has actually duet with so many prominent musicians. So to me, Dolly Parton has paid her dues. She had a nice time. She lived a very good life. She was not that too involved in any scandal. She did not die of any, maybe she did not suffer any sickness at this case, maybe even if she does, you can easily say that maybe it's because of her old age, And of course, a very beautiful woman. That is the most important aspect of it. Very, very pretty. So at the age of 80, I think it's a fair one. She lived a fulfilled life. But the pattern is fulfilled. By all standard of a celebrity, she's fulfilled. So my parting word for her is that I just pray God grant her eternal rest. And at the age of 80, I want to believe that she must have been able to amend her ways if at all she had done anything, on the contrary. So I think everybody's going to be Dolly Parton. And I think our songs are still going to be relevant tomorrow because she actually, reeled out music that can stand the test of time. So that is just so. Dolly Parton, you always remember for something good, something positive, particularly in the music industry. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. And now to this one coming from Ogun State. Police has bust a baby factory in Ogun community, and they rescued 2 pregnant women and 4 children. There was also a pregnant woman, that gave birth to a child, and the pregnant woman the child is missing. The child is they're still searching for the child, but I want your comments as regards the busting of this baby factory in Ogun community, because we are aware that aside Ogun, there are still baby factories around, and it has become business now. Like, it has become a trade, a trend that baby factories here, baby factories there, baby factories there. What can the police or the military personnel do to curb this?
Thank you very much. Number one, how did we get to the level of baby factory? It is because of the poverty on the land. That's just simple truth. And how did they even get these ladies? Most of these people, if you look at, I've not seen many of the people that are involved, but you discover now that most of them will go to their village. Tell them, the mother of these girls that, okay, I want to go and maybe come and learn 1 or 2 trade, either in Lagos or in southwestern Nigeria, as the case may be. But unfortunately, by the time they get here, it's something different entirely. You understand? It's just like the way our ladies are equally being taken to places like Libya, these Arab nations, for prostitution. They will tell you, okay, it's stuff like that. So when you get there, you get this job. And by the time you get there, it becomes a different story entirely. So that is what is equally happening in this context. You understand? Of course, you're talking about our police can continue. Of course, that is why we always see that if you see something, say something. Where these children are, or where this factory, as the case may be, it's not in the bush. It's in the particular, and that is why every person needs to be very sensitive at this point in time, because apart from these people that are involved in this business going to their villages to woo those young girls, they even kidnap some on the road as well. So that is why parents should not allow their daughters, particularly the very young one, to be roaming about the street, particularly in an unsafe, at an unsafe period. So parents should be more, protective of their children. They should be more alert. You understand? So to me, there's little the police can do, except maybe they are giving the information. So that is why we have always said that if you see something, you say something. So it's very simple. And I must tell you this: the police lately have been so responsive. Gone are those days that by the time you see something now, that maybe the police should now arrest you. No, it's the fact that there is a serious turnaround change in police ideology and world of view. By the time you tell them anything now, they will go forth. carry out the investigation and, you know, make necessary arrests. You understand? So compared to before that, you go to make any complaint, you are asked to sit down there and first Jack Robinson, you're under arrest. Such thing is no longer obtainable. So to every person that is listening to us, if you suspect anything, either maybe you see people just moving in, not coming out, you know, ladies roaming about, you know, in a particular compound, report. If you see anybody moving about for no reason, report. And of course, the police too and NAPTIP that is in charge of trafficking should make their numbers available so that if anybody sees anything, you can easily make a call and come around. And you see, there are so many atrocities are going on in our various localities. It's not left for us as, you know, as citizens, as residents of that area, to be vigilant and to be very, very observant. If you notice anything funny, just call the police, call the authorities that are involved. Now, that's why we keep on saying that security is local. You understand? Security is local. So that is why we continue advocating as well for state policing. By the time such thing is being, it's put in place, you know people, whom to call. And for you, Jack Robinson, arrest to be made, investigation carried out, and judgment to be passed on any person found guilty of any of these offenses. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Can we quickly have your parting shot?
Well, my parting shot has always been that let us all do the right thing. Look, if all of us have been doing the right thing for some time now, it wouldn't be where we are. We would have moved far, far ahead the present situation, the present condition we find ourselves. So let us all do the right thing, from the leadership aspect to our various homes and individuals. Let us do the right thing. Doing the right thing is the way forward for making Nigeria great again. Thank you very much.
Thank you for showing up on the program today.
You're most welcome.
We'll see you next time.
Very sure.
Yes, yes. Yes, our time is fast spent on the program this morning, and with that, I